Okay, so my TED Talk is about reflection. Okay? So discuss. It's time to discuss, okay? Um I'm talking into a mirror right now, um, which is gonna reflect, right? I'm probably gonna be the opposite way because that's a reflection, okay? And so when I think of reflection, um, it's so funny because my neighbors, I haven't really thought about it. I didn't really think about it because I see them like, I don't see them every day, but I've gotten to the point where, okay, now I'm going to tell you. I just realized that my neighbors are reflections of each other, okay? So they live on two sides of, they live on two sides of one house straight across from me. They're reflections because these women are sisters, right? And they live right next door to each other, but there's a house in the middle. That's kind of like, right? And I was just about to talk, mind you, I'm really about to talk about, um, my sixth point was geometry. And if I were to fold this house in half, these sisters' houses would kind of like, you know, right? But anyway, right. So they're like right there, and hold on. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. When you are speaking something into existence, or okay, when you're speaking something into existence, your world around you starts to reflect what you're saying right back to you, as in a mirror effect. Okay, so it's kind of like when you say to people, you give people what you want to receive back to you. Okay, that's based off of your vibration. Okay, so um people are reflections of you. Okay, so these are a mirror effect. Okay, so if I'm giving somebody the energy that I want to give, that I want them to give back to me, they're most likely going to give me the energy that I want to give back from me. Okay, so I was at the store yesterday, and I was very high, like I was very high vibrating, like I was vibrating on a high frequency, and people were picking up on it, right? So when you do that, you kind of get things to come to happen to you in your own favor. Things happen in your outcome of your things happen in your things happen in your favor. I'm sorry, I was like trying to fight a thought. Okay, things happen in your favor. Things are more likely to come out in that outcome. Okay, so my mom was sending me money to pay for these items. Okay, and what happened? And my card wasn't working. I was like, okay, I think that maybe there might be a Mercury retrograde coming up because things aren't my speech, and like, I'm stammering myself, my electronics are kind of like glitching in a way, whatever. Um so I just think it's really funny when you like speak something out into existence, it kind of reflects it back to you, and how like, when you treat somebody that how you want to be treated, it's reflected back to you. And so my phone died as I was purchasing these items, and like, I'm working through Cash App, so in which Cash App is brilliant, okay? But anyway, um so my phone dies, and I'm at Whole Foods, and I'm walking to this lady at the help, the help section, and the guy who was bagging my groceries, he obviously he knew what like had happened, and if I were vibrating on a lower frequency, and I was like rude, or in some way, shape, or form, I feel like maybe he wouldn't have offered his charger to me, right? Maybe he wouldn't have offered his charger to me, right? Because if I were like being rude, like obviously I'm not gonna want somebody to like, right? But if I wasn't who I am, like I feel like, I definitely changed, my aura definitely changed the outcome of what happened in that store, and it helped it turned it in my favor, right? Because, not only did I reflect positivity, I probably made some people's day that day, right? I probably made that guy's day that day. So sweet. Thank you for letting me use your charger. Like, I love your Move face mask, right? Like, I need to get Bitch I'm a Cow on my damn, like, face mask, whatever. Anyway, so, I just think it's crazy how reflections, okay? So we're going to take it a step further and how your environment affects your thought process, okay? So these are reflective. So be mindful of how you think, okay? Because what you think, your thoughts are a magnetic wavelength, right? For what you attract to yourself, the events that happen to you, okay? You need to be mindful of how you think. Because if I'm on another note. I'm on another note. That ain't, it's not. Okay? So, if your environment, if the people around you think negatively, right? If your peers think negatively, if your family thinks negatively, what's most like you're going to pick up on that, right? You're going to pick up on those vibes, right? Vibes is a short word, like it's a shorter word for vibration, okay? Pick a vibe. How do I get a vibe? Catch a vibe, sis. Catch a vibe. I literally had just said that. I was like, or I thought that. I was like, how do I get a vibe? Catch one. Catch a vibe, right? Because it's energy, right? It's energy. It's energy. Right? Yeah, it's energy. Okay. So, if people's energy are negative, you're most likely going to you're going to catch that energy, right? You're going to catch that energy. And people aren't understanding that you are the creator of your own reality. That's what I'm into. That's my interest, is being able to be consciously aware and awaken my love, right? I'm awakening myself to know that, I can create anything that I would like, because that's what I want to see in my world, right? That's what I want to see in my world. And as a reflection, because people are reflections of me, that's what they want to see too. They want to see this too, right? Yeah. And you don't even have to, they don't even have to want to see you do that, right? But you believe that, right? Because consciously, this is your reality, right? Make that, right? They want to see this happen for me too, right? They want to, right? You want to be the best you can be. Everybody's attracted to your higher self, so you better put your best foot forward, okay? So, I mean, and at the same time, even if they don't want you, just believe it, because you rule what you want to rule, okay? Anyway, so when people I feel like when you're catching people's vibes, right? Some people are immune to certain types of vibes, as to where, they really can't see they can't see the difference, because that's their environment. And, they surrender to this environment that they are not aware is affecting them, right? So, if positive, okay, so I was just talking last night about how, in a parallel, I could not even imagine, if I were in my negative, polarity, if I was in my negative polarity, how emotional fragile I would be, because, just how emotional fragile, and, how emotionally triggered I would be based off of my environment and the chaos within my environment, right? Because what happened? Like, I just would feel like I would feel triggered enough to, my emotions would be volatile, right? Like, it would be very triggering for not only me but also other people. And some people, like, because I know my vibe, right? Like, because I know my vibe, I know that I'm not the negative, but I'm both, right? I'm both because I have to experience both sides of what it is and what it ain't, right? Um, I was talking about how I actually okay. So when it comes to law of attraction and manifesting, I understand that time is an illusion. Okay, time is an illusion because it's like a man-made thing, right? It's really a man-made thing. Okay, so my mom had made a vision board, and I haven't really made vision boards. You know, I just journal and script and everything. But like my mom made a vision board because like she when I started becoming more of an avid manifester, in which yeah, like when I became more of an avid manifester, um, my mom started like manifesting. She started a vision board, and I created one for this year, yes, but I just really wasn't. I'm not really into making a visual board of what it is and what it ain't because I already envision it, right? I already envision it. Time is an illusion, so me putting all these pictures and dates and I want this by then, I want this and that, like no, I can have this now. Why do I need to set a time? If I want and desire something for myself, why would I set a time frame if I want it now? Right? I'm going to that's why I kind of like my mom's vision board has her like dates on it, right? And for her, yes, it's kind of like a pinpoint. And some people, yes, they might need like dates. So like I need to make this goal by this day. This is where I see myself making my goal by this month, right? So anyway, and it's so funny because what is my reality? My reality is what I create it to be, okay? Um I'm going to tell you how like here's another point is and I was realizing, have you ever thought about how people never really give bad reviews on manifesting, right? Because it's based off of like your mind, right? It's based off of your mind. And so, why do all these bad things happen to me? Like why do all these bad things happen to me? Because you're in this lack mindset, right? You're in this lack mindset as to where, you're believing everything bad is happening to you. Change it. Change that. Change that because change that. Change that. I think it's so funny because I'm really still thinking about how these neighbors are sisters, right? And I didn't notice that, right? I've been living here for I've been living here for however long I've been living here. Only to now, as I'm talking about reflections, it becomes an example within my video, right? So I think that life is a science, and I can say I hate science, right? But as a hands-on learner, because I'm like a scholar of life, like as a life handler, you know, being taught geometry in a school setting was not ideal for me. Like I want to experience how geometry can affect my life. And it's so crazy because people are like, this is not in your everyday world. Like, geometry, science, anything. No, boo. Everything is everything. Everything, period. Everything is everything, okay? Like, um, when you're manifesting, okay, I'm gonna explain this one time. I'm gonna break it down to you one time, and if you don't get it, then you don't get it. But if you understand, then you understand the consciousness that I'm at, okay? When you're manifesting, okay, and I don't know if people like experience deja vu, right? Um, and you're like, okay, I like to call it my life of pi, okay? So Everything is a circle. If you realize everything is cycles, right? From from karma to, precipitation to anything and everything. We're all the most within geometry, the most popular shape that you're gonna see is probably a circle because that's basically what life is about. There's Earth. Is Earth flat? No. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Um, but Earth is in the shape of a sphere, right? Um, so I'm trying to tell you, like, everything is everything. Everything is everything because, right, what comes around goes around. What comes around goes around. Yin and yang, like polarities. Everything is everything, all these things are geometric terms. If you're, it's like, if you decode it more, like, it's everything is everything at the end of the day. And it's kind of like, you know, it's crazy. It's so crazy. I've been realizing things, figuring things out, like life. What is life? And it's like life now, I remember when I was younger, I'd like be like, what's life? And like, life is a human experience, right? Life is a human experience, right? That's what life is. Anyway, so I honestly think that is really funny because how do you, I've been living here for so long. I've literally sat outside every day to just find out, as I'm talking about reflections, that two of my neighbors are reflections of each other, and I'm just figuring this out, right? Crazy. Anyway, okay, speaking things into existence. I actually really like this. I like this topic the most because I do it every day. It's a daily practice, okay? So there's this one time, I had talked about an opportunity and I was like, this opportunity is going to come towards me tomorrow, right? Did that opportunity, actually the opportunity did come to me that next day, and it was offered to me twice. And it was just like, and it, to me, it was like, it was just me playing with my reality as to where that's what I wanted. I got that opportunity twice for free. And it was just me playing with, like, it was just me playing with, alchemy, right? I'm an alchemist, right? Like, it was me playing with the life around me, right? Like, I used to love the game Sims. I still love the game Sims, but it's very time consuming. It's very time consuming because you really get into it, right? You're getting into a simulation where you can control people's life, but meanwhile, you're in control of your own life, right? And it's so crazy because I have to think of myself as, and I'm not going to think of myself as a sim, but I'm going to think of myself as somebody who I can control myself to, to reflect my biggest desires. Because, when you're playing Sims or this stimulation game, you kind of create a reflection of you in your best life, right? And you create this best life version of you. And this is a reflection of me, right? This is what I want. This is what I desire. And like, my Sims would be like, rich, and they would be whatever I wanted them to do because that was it. But meanwhile, those were my desires, right? Those were my desires. That was my dream reality that I was portraying within um, a virtual universe that I'm the ruler of, right? Meanwhile, parallel, consciously, I am the controller of my reality, right? So I just have these, like, since I've come to this consciousness, I've, just want to create, and, to accomplish things. But before I go, I'm going to talk about how I was talking about how the life of pi. So when you're manifesting and you're manifesting your future, right? You're manifesting your future, okay? So when you create those milestones, right? When you create those milestones within your future, because you're creating these milestones within the future, you're still in your present, okay? You're still in your present, and you still have to, because life is a karmic cycle. What comes around goes around, right? So, you know, you end where you start, basically, essentially, if I'm going to say. And no, not in your mom's womb. No, like you, as above, so below, right? As above, so below. As above, so below. Where'd you start and where'd you end, right? Your spirit started, if you believe in it, your spirit started up here, right? But your parents created your body, right? Okay. And at the end of this cycle, where does this your spirit returns? Where your spirit returns, right? We're just disposing the body. Your spirit returns back to where you need it, right? So, which is back up there, right? No, not in your mom's, like, no, not with your mom. But you know. So, as the architect of the milestones that I want to create within my future, right? So these are futuristic, progressive thinking. These are within the future, but I live right now. But because I'm planning my life and I'm creating my life, and I'm visualizing what I want as my milestones, right? My life is autonomously creating, it's autonomously, you know, getting to where I need it to be, and which is my dream life, right? I'm autonomously creating it to be, you know. So when I find these milestones, right, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, like I wanted this, right? I reflected this, you know, um, you know, life is cool, right? Life isn't as hard as you think it is. And, who am I to tell you? But obviously, from somebody who is telling you to awaken, my love, right? So, awaken yourself and you'll realize that life isn't as hard as you make it. Like, life's what you make it, right? And I guess that's based off of your environment. And I guess that's based off of your mindset. And I guess it's based off of reflections that, right. And you want to know what's crazy is I keep reflecting within this topic, this TED Talk, is I keep on reflecting. I keep on reflecting, regardless if it's within my past, within life, within geometry. Because, see, life is art. Life is art. Life is school. Life is school. Life is a school of art. Okay, okay, listen. We have all the things that we learn in school. That's why honestly, that's why I school life before I'm going to college, because consciously I'm aware of, I'm just relearning a lot of things that I'm just learning how I want to learn, okay? Like, and now because I'm consciously aware that I can be who I want to be, it's, you know what? I'm calling 911 because I definitely killed this topic. And that's the craziest thing is, like, I'm calling 911. I'm calling, you know what? 911 just passed. I'm not even going to lie. 911 just passed and I killed this topic. I believe it. So, I'd be proud to put this on my YouTube, like, right now. Anyway. I think I was saying something, like, I think I was saying something But the topic can be over. So